LeBron James has played a total of 8 Game 7s in his career. In those 8 games, he is 6-2 with averages of 35 points, 10 rebounds, and nearly 6 assists per game. The 2 losses came very early in his career, in 2006 against Detroit and in 2008 against the Celtics. And ever since then, he has never lost another Game 7. How's it going, fellas? My name's Andy, and today we're going to take a look at LeBron's history of Game 7s, starting from all the way back in 2006. Also, I've got a special announcement to make at the end of the video, so stay tuned. In 2006, LeBron made his playoff debut this year as a very young yet already established superstar. Going up against the ridiculous Pistons defense, LeBron had a rough series, but he was still playing really well. And at one point, the Cavs were up 3-2. Unfortunately, in Game 7, the Pistons put on a full display of their championship-level defense. Combine that with all of the Cavs shooters having an off night, and you got a team that ends up scoring 61 points in a closeout game. Yikes. LeBron himself had a good game, scoring 27 points, which was nearly half his team's total. That's kinda crazy. Outside of LeBron, the rest of the team shot 9 for 41. This Cavs team was by far the worst team he's ever played with in the playoffs, so it was a miracle he even carried them to a Game 7 in the first place. Fast forward to 2008. The Boston Celtics became instant contenders after signing Kevin Garnett and Ray Allen over the summer. In the playoffs though, they kinda struggled on the road, losing every road game in their first 2 series. This set up the stage for a Game 7 showdown between the defending Eastern Conference champion Cavs and the Celtics Big Three. LeBron had one of the greatest performances of his career, scoring 45 points, but once again, his supporting cast wasn't there. And you'll notice that this was a trend early on in his career, he didn't have much help. Despite LeBron scoring nearly half his team's total points again, the Celtics still won the game 97-92. LeBron's next Game 7 doesn't happen until 4 years later. A more mature and improved LeBron once again faces the Celtics. In a career-defining series that saw the Celtics go up 3-2, LeBron responded with arguably the best game of his career, scoring 45 points in Game 6. And in Game 7, he would continue his onslaught and close them out. He scored 31 points and grabbed 12 rebounds while getting a lot of help from Wade and Bosh. This time, the aging Celtics core did not have enough juice, and the Heat won Game 7 on their home floor, 101-88. Had the Heat lost this series, it would have been very interesting. They might have had to make a huge change in their roster, especially since at this point, LeBron has yet to win a title. So leading his team to the win and performing like he did had a major impact on his legacy. If he lost to the Celtics there, it would have been another rough summer. The next Game 7 happened just 1 year later, and it's the second most surprising one on this list. The Indiana Pacers were a great team, but nobody thought they could push it to 7. It was a very tight series. 3 of the games came down to the wire, but when Game 7 started, it was clear the Heat had another level that the Pacers could not reach. LeBron scored 32 points and was also 15 for 16 from the free throw line. It was a hard-fought, grinded-out series because the Pacers had the #1 defense in the league, but they had a lackluster offense, which was their downfall. Funny enough, the Heat could not contain Roy Hibbert, who averaged 22 and 10 for the series. Man, he fell off really fast, didn't he? 17 days later, and LeBron would play in yet another Game 7. This time, it's in the finals against the San Antonio Spurs. A lot of people remember the series because of Ray Allen's game-tying 3 in Game 6, but barely anybody talks about LeBron's ridiculous Game 7. In this series, the Spurs' game plan was to give LeBron more space and encourage him to shoot jumpers, which worked out pretty well for the most part. But in Game 7, LeBron took on the challenge and nailed everything down the stretch. He finished the game with 37 points, which includes 5 for 10 from 3 and 8 for 8 at the line. He scored 22 of his 37 in the second half and punished the Spurs by hitting his shots. His last jump shot with 28 seconds left gave the Heat a 4-point lead, and shortly after, he would claim his second NBA championship. Although LeBron was rather pedestrian for most of the series by his standards, he still showed up at the biggest stage when his team needed him. 3 years later, in 2016, LeBron would play his 6th Game 7, his hardest and arguably the most iconic series in recent NBA history. Coming back from being down 3-1 seemed impossible because, well, nobody has done it in the finals before. But with a couple of all-time great performances in games 5 and 6 where he had back-to-back 41-point games, along with some good luck, the Cavs managed to force a game 7. For most of the game, LeBron was struggling. His shot was off, he picked up some early turnovers, and the Cavs were down by 7 at halftime. The game was very slow-paced, which was uncharacteristic of how the series went, but it worked in the Cavs' favor. They were able to control the pace and their ISO-heavy offense came out on top. LeBron did not shoot well, but still scored 27 points with a clutch block at the end of the game as the Cavs completed the greatest comeback of all time. And now we move on to this year, 2018. Remember how I said the series going to 7 games against the 2013 Pacers was the second most surprising? Well, this was the most surprising. Even though the Pacers beat the Cavs 3 times in the regular season, not many thought this series would go to 7, even though it was a 4 vs 5 matchup. LeBron has also never played a Game 7 in the first round before. However, right out of the gates, the Pacers blew out the Cavs in Game 1 and we were in for an exciting series. Unfortunately for them, LeBron happened. He scored 45 points on 16 for 25 shooting with 8 rebounds, 7 assists, and 4 steals. This was the best Game 7 of his entire career, and he was just unstoppable. In the entire series, he was unstoppable, averaging over 34 a game. His teammate with the next highest point average was Kevin Love with 11.4. LeBron was just a one-man wrecking machine, and the Pacers' team effort could not stop him. And finally, we just witnessed LeBron's 8th Game 7 of his career. 35 points, 15 rebounds, 9 assists, and played all 48 minutes. He did have 8 turnovers, which was because a lot of his passes got intercepted. This was happening throughout the series. The Celtics played the passing lanes really well. But once again, it's Game 7 LeBron. What are you gonna do about it? He won his 6th straight Game 7 in another legacy-defining series. To be honest, I think 5 or 10 years from now, when people look back at this series, there's gonna be a bunch of mixed feelings. Yeah, once again, LeBron carried his team to victory, but at the same time, it was against a team whose 2 best scorers were like 20 years old, a rookie and a sophomore. So it didn't seem like it should have been that hard, but there's a lot more context. The Celtics were statistically the best defensive team in the league and also the best at defending the 3-point line, as they held the Cavs to just 32% from 3, which was 5% below their season average. They're also arguably the best coached team in the league. Brad Stevens is amazing. LeBron pretty much single-handedly won the series with the weakest supporting cast he's had in a long time. And those were all 8 of LeBron's Game 7s. He has not lost one since 2008, so how long can he keep this up? I think we should all appreciate how good LeBron has been in this playoff run. He had one of his best seasons ever at 33 years old, and there are still very little signs of him slowing down. Anyway, here's the announcement I mentioned earlier. I just completed creating my own basketball merchandise store at hoopsgold.com. I've got a lot of custom artwork, drawings, and designs that you might like, and I hope you guys can check it out. In honor of LeBron's amazing playoff run this year, I made this Long Live the King t-shirt of him doing the chalk toss. I think it's a nice throwback. If you bought something, send me a DM on Instagram or Twitter or email of you wearing the merch and I'll give you a shout out at the end of my videos. Once again, the store is hoopsgold.com. Alright, that's all folks. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, I'll see you next time. Peace.